All right, we welcome on great guest. You were on part of my take 2 years ago. We were out in Colorado at Myco Love Farms, and we had a great time visiting with you. Great dude. It's Jake Plummer. He's gotten really into post NFL career, going with some. I guess you're an evangelist for mushrooms. I would say, like you're bringing mushrooms to the people. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, a mushroom man, a fungi is too much. Fungi is too much of a played out pun, but more just yeah, like I'm a conduit for this ancient knowledge that they're showing me every day, and the connectivity they've created, and just letting people know about it, really about a food group. It's more or less a food group that we've forgotten. Now it's a huge entire kingdom, but I like to break it down to a food group, the ones that we can ingest and eat legally and that have a lot of benefits. So yeah, I'm a man of the mushrooms.
I love it. I love it. So, how did you get into mushrooms at first? Wait, did you like mushrooms when you were a kid growing up?
Um, no, my brother used to cook, like little button mushrooms, creminis, and he loved to cook them, saute them, and I just hated the smell. And I remember times like crying about it, just like sick, and he'd just ha ha and like be waft them in front of my face. But as I grew up, and eating mushrooms on different, foods, my knowledge of them was very small. I remember, seeing them out and about in nature in the backyard or out on a hike. But I've been aware of psilocybin mushrooms growing up in the Northwest, having some family and friends that would go out into Oregon and crawl around on the ground and pick the little mushrooms growing out of the cow shit. And so I was aware of it, but didn't do a whole lot with it growing up. Had a couple times, experiencing a little bit of psilocybin up in the mountains, but never knowing and understanding the true sacred, medicine that it is. And then, getting into mushrooms in the last 4 years really has blown my mind to the magnitude of this expanse of free knowledge of healing and health and connectivity and communication, and just the beauty of the mycelial network and everything, and how really important it is for people to know about it.
Yeah. So the mycelial network. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'd like you to expand on that a little bit because I saw a documentary about mushrooms a couple years ago, and they talked about that, and they made the way they were explaining it was saying that mushrooms can act almost like the neural network of the earth. Like they communicate with each other underground. They say it's like nerve endings almost. But again, I'm kind of an outsider on all this, so I'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean it's I think you might have watched Fantastic Fungi, the documentary. Just a beautiful documentary that was one of my moments of watching that and going, oh wow, okay, this is amazing. Just to watch them time lapse grow the fruiting bodies. And I say fruiting bodies because that's what you think of when you see a mushroom. And an amanita is the most popular one, the red and white mushroom that red cap, white dots. It's poisonous, but there are people using it for some very good health benefits, actually, in micro doses, not eating the whole thing, but a little bit at a time. And so, yeah, the mycelial network is really, they call it the wood wide web. That's wood, WOOD. It's like it's one of the most ancient communication systems ever that runs, below our feet in the soil, under the soil, down at different depths. I believe it goes all the way to the core. I think of the mycelium as the mother, as like it knows everything. It can fix your cut, can cook you spaghetti, it can pick you up from school, it can help you with algebra. It knows everything. Like the mycelium knows how a cottonwood tree grows. It knows how a strawberry tastes. It understands our urine. If you take a leak outside and it goes through the grass, man, mycelium is having a taste of our urine. It's like it knows everything. And so it's a single-celled hyphae. It's similar when you look at it as it branches out in the underneath the topsoil in the ground, a lot like our own, nervous system and our capillaries. And you dissect the lung and look at how our lung spreads out and how that all looks. It's it's replicated in nature over and over and over, even like a river and its tributaries when they branch out going into the ocean. And so they found that it communicates and it shares nutrients from tree that's doing well to tree that's struggling. It is actually that compassionate to know and to be able to share, and really a great representation of how we can help really solve a lot of the issues and just things we deal with here in the world if we just learn to connect and share a little bit like the mycelium. So I'm amazed by it every day. I'm trying to learn more and understand. We've just scratched the surface of what's out there. The numbers are out there of millions and millions of different mushroom organisms and species. They thought maybe 500,000, they're up close to 2, maybe 3 million or something like that. And I may be off on those numbers. It's what I've heard from some leading, people in the mycology world. We've discovered or identified maybe 150 to 200,000 of those. And then of those, we've figured out the medicinal value, or that they're poisonous, or that they can take you on a trip and have you have hallucinations and maybe meet up with your traumas and become friends and heal that way. Maybe 170 or so that we actually know. And so it's amazing. It's so fun. Like we're at the very, very tip of the iceberg here, and it's going to go from here. And to usher that in and be a voice for it, and not only a voice, but to be doing some great things in that category to help spread this word is really a true gift. It's like, why'd I play football? Man, I beat myself up. Oh, that's why I'm now here able to have people have me on their show so I can talk. People want to hear what I'm up to. People can remember my playing style, and I remember him, and then they hear what I'm up to, and it's just who's out there listening. That's what I'm curious to find out. And if they're listening and want to feel better, then that's one way to channel it through that mycelial network, that connectivity.
It's very funny to imagine like going back in time and telling 8-year-old Jake Plummer, all right, here's what's going to happen, man. You're going to be an NFL quarterback. And you're like, oh, sweet. That's awesome. You're also going to become obsessed with mushrooms. Oh, what the fuck, man? Come on. I got just one quick follow up on the mycelial network, and then I know these guys have a bunch of stuff they want to get into. But when you say that they can communicate underground, if there's a tree that's not doing so well, if it's not healthy, and there's a healthier tree that's next to it, or a little bit of ways away, is there any like positive outcome for the fungi to transfer those nutrients? Like what's the fungi getting out of it? Or as far as we know right now, is it just, it wants to see the plants grow and it's just being, like you said, compassionate?
Yeah. I mean, that's the question, right? We don't know. We can't quite communicate yet with them, but what I like to think, I mean, there are, hey, let's be real. There are some fungi out there, not because all mushrooms are fungi, but not all fungi are mushrooms. And I mean mushrooms as in the fruiting body that comes up out of the ground. So let's be real, there are some out there that are deadly, that can go in and kill trees and go in and pollute things and poison you and kill you. And so this is real, deep, deep knowledge. You got to understand this. It's not like, hey, let's go forage and pick a mushroom and come cook it. That's dangerous. You got to know, you got to understand it. You got to take your time to learn, which organisms, which ones are edible, which ones are edible, but you shouldn't drink with wine. And like, it's very complicated and complex, yet it's fascinating and beautiful. And, a tree falls in the forest and lands, it's dead. It goes boom. The mycelium hears that. And then they start coming out underground to do what to that tree? To decompose it. So without mycelium, we would be under a pile of 50 to 100 foot of shit that just dies, that wouldn't go away. But thank you to the fungi for coming up and reabsorbing all of that back into the earth to then now become something new again. And it's a beautiful, show on regeneration and how Mother Nature knows what they're doing. Mother knows what the hell's up. She's got it down. No questions. Mother Nature is going to just do fine with us as we continue to do the things we do to her. She's gonna be fine. She's gonna, flourish at some point again, where we're gonna be gone. And that's just, I think mushrooms and fungi and all that have been around a long, long time. and I'm not talking woo woo and too spiritual for anybody out there, I hope, but it's just understanding plants and how they communicate, understanding even the science behind how you speak to people and how you a study done where they spoke to plants in a negative way and they were mean and they talked shit about it. And then the other room got spoken to in kind words with compassion and how beautiful you are. And the difference that those two plants had was profound. And the one flourished that was told, nice things and loved, really loved. And that's it. So it's a beautiful world to dive into. And 8-year-old Jake, if I could go back and tell him, it would have been like, yo, start reading some books on mushrooms and studying that and going into biology and chemistry and understand flavonoids and polysaccharides and alkaloids and all this stuff that is now just coming into my wheelhouse. We're like, whoa, I was just eating the food they told me. Okay, training table. All right, Friday night, we're done with practice. They were feeding us Popeyes in Denver, Arian. I mean, like, we didn't know this stuff back in the day, but if we had, how much better could we have functioned? How much better could we have come out of the game less beat down, less depleted, less like, run down from the things we put our bodies through to be at the very, very, very best peak, one of the tiniest percentages in the world, what we were as NFL athletes.
That's actually what
Very
I want
cool.
to talk to you about, man, because I'm listening to you talk, and it's very it's inspiring knowing how much of my peers, as you go through that experience of the NFL, so many of our peers kind of fall victim to um either past, whereas they don't fall in love with anything. And listening to you talk is just good to hear people that are inspired and that have been through what we've been through, because a lot of people don't really understand the transition stage and how hard that is to like kind of mourn your own death,
Mm.
and to mourn like your own death of a dream you had as a child, right? That's they don't really talk to you about that. They always talk to you about having an identity outside, but they don't really, until it hits you, you don't really understand. So hearing you talk is very it's good to hear, because I've seen a lot of guys go through deep depression, alcoholism, drugs, a lot of different vices, and ironically enough, the shit that you're really into now, I think just luckily I had got into when I was a kid, nowhere near as deep as the scientific side as you are, but just a quick story. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and there's not a lot to do out there, right? And so we did drugs a lot. Like that city is like it was, and it's the cross between I-40 and I-25, which is a major drug trafficking spot. So a lot of drugs infiltrated that city. And so growing up, it was just normal around me. People were smoking weed, people was doing coke, ecstasy, all that stuff. And I stayed away from the harder drugs, but mushrooms, I was doing like at 13 years old. And I was just doing it to get high, right? But I had no idea what it actually did to me. And I always tell people this, like, if you want to do mushrooms, like, it's not like a party drug. You don't take them to go have fun necessarily. You can, but it's a very like existential experience that I didn't know that I was capable of having at that young age. And I always challenge people like, yo, go find me a closed-minded person who has taken mushrooms. It's just going
Yeah.
to be hard to do it, because I always tell people what it does is it takes you from existing in the world to feeling like you're existing with the world. And that's
Mm.
a very hard thing to describe with words. And so I say all that to say, like, what has been your experience as far as like post career, and how much do you attribute that to I guess the mental clarity and the mental and emotional success of yourself? How much do you attribute that to your experience with mushrooms?
Yeah, I mean, great question. Thank you for the kind words. And then obviously yourself, like that taking those at a young age, they did something to your brain chemistry to allow you to be where you're at right now, which
Yeah.
to me feels like you're at peace with everything you did. And even from your career and watching you were like, yeah, football's great, but it isn't all me.
Yeah.
I'm not just that running back, and I'm not just this football guy. I'm not just that. And that's the hard thing a lot of guys do deal with leaving the game, is like that identity that they're still not getting all that attention week to week, or still not quite in it, or they feel like they're forgotten. And not a lot of teams do a great job of keeping guys around. We're lucky here in Denver, like the Broncos do a lot of alumni events to get guys back. But even some guys like, yeah, man, I don't go to that stuff. Like, why not? Yeah, I'm like, come out to see us. We want to see you. I want to see you. I want to look in your eyes. I want to hug you and feel if you got any
Mhm.
vitality. I want to see how you walk in the room. If you're limping real bad, or if you're bitching about things nonstop, like there's something off. And let's be real. We put our bodies through the beatings. We put our brains through trauma that most humans don't have to go through. And if you don't approach your post career, with the right, frame of mind and the right plan, and sometimes it isn't the plan they have for you with the NFL and all the assistance they have. I'm thankful for. Thank you. But I don't need $25,000 to spend on prescription drugs. I don't
Right.
take any. I don't want to. So how are they helping me? They're not. But I'm helping them because I'm representing what a post career they want to have people see. Hey, look at this guy. Look, he's fine. For every one of me, there's 20 guys that are already on TMP, total and permanent disability, that are
Yep.
in their 40s.
Yep.
That's for the rest of your life. For what? For the money? Holy shit. Like, this ain't right. Like, we are at the peak and we're pushed to be the best. Then when you get out, you're almost required to embody helplessness and hopelessness, and oh, I'm beat down, and oh, I need help, and I can't do this. Well, how do I go to the PT? Like, wait a sec, you were here, and now you're way down here. Like, how can we flip that? What can we do? And it's becoming, it's mushrooms have been a huge part of my life for the last 4 years. But prior to that, I went through a lot of really tough times in post career and figuring out what I was supposed to be doing and what I need to do next. And I also I used cannabis towards the tail end of my career for relaxation and the pain, being able to sleep and actually get my rest. And then post career, and then I was lucky enough to get involved with Charlotte's Web, that was doing hemp oils and extracting, cannabinoids and all of that. And that was very unknown by a lot of people. Yet these little kids were benefiting from taking it that were having severe seizure disorders. So
Mhm.
we used our notoriety and our platforms to speak for these mothers that were having to risk prosecution to give their child something that was helping them not have seizures. And so that really got me into like, wait, now nature, I've always been guided that way by my mother. I knew to eat well. She fed us really well. We would take garlic and honey for our colds. She'd put a comfrey poultice on our sprained ankles or sprained wrists. She fed us well. We took echinacea if we had the sniffles. I mean, she was holistic herself along with her mom. And so I've been on this path, and going into the next phase of not just these mushrooms that are a food group, a nutrition, through our company Umbo, that we're providing in different ways. There's the confusion now with psychedelics, kind of like with hemp and marijuana. There was big confusion. Same thing with functional mushrooms and psychedelics. I've had some amazing journeys on psychedelics. Do I take them all the time? No, I don't. I don't need them. I've been opened up to become one with the universe and to be one with the people around me and feel connected. I don't need it. Do I still struggle? Yeah, I got days where it's tough. I got areas of my body that are just painful. And how painful? I don't know. I don't know if half the US could get out of bed with what I'm feeling every day in my neck, but I know I can get up, because what do we do all our lives, Arian? We got up, right? Get
Yep.
hit, you get back up. We don't let pain stop us. So it's been a journey, and it's not over yet. It's just beginning. And mushrooms are they're being researched at major universities for all sorts of things. I'm talking psychedelics now, like even at unlimitedsciences.org, our nonprofit that's doing responsible research on all psychedelics, including, ayahuasca, ibogaine, peyote. I mean, all of them. Peyote is the Native Americans. That's their medicine. I don't like promoting that at all. Even ayahuasca, that's a different medicine from another country. But we all have on every continent your own form of that in a plant, and that's the crazy thing. Like, here's nature again, Mother Nature providing for us everything we need. And I believe in psychedelics, but I also believe it's very important to have a community around you, to have a plan for integration, and understand that these stories you're seeing online of it's changed my life and everything's great. It might not be that for you. It might open up a whole can of stuff you got to deal with. And
Yep.
that's the thing that's hard. You want that panacea. You want that pill that can take it all away. But man, when it comes down to it, we all want to take the medicine, but none of us want to go do the dishes. But you got to go do the dishes. That's just what you got to do.
So I was well aware that they've been doing research on psychedelic shrooms that can help treat depression, addiction.
Mm.
If you have terminal cancer, it can help you confront death. But like I only recently learned that like there's been a bunch of universities doing research on how psychedelics can help with chronic pain. And I guess like right now they've only been doing the research on rats, I believe, but they think it works by like sometimes if you've had chronic pain for so long, you have a neural pathway that like even when the cause of the pain starts to go away, that neural pathway is just so ingrained in your brain that you're still feeling that pain. Yeah. And they think that the use of psychedelics can kind of help reroute some of those pathways, so you like stop the pain becomes not as intense.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that along with more stuff we don't even know yet. That's the beauty of what we're stepping into is there's all sorts of things that we deal with in society and our cultures and in the world of disease, a lot of it caused by ourselves, and stress ain't going away. Reishi mushroom can help your nervous system, come to a more calm place. It's like a warm blanket for your nervous system, but it ain't going to take away your stress. Stress is here to stay. It's how your body reacts to it, how you yourself react to it. And, there's a lot of great findings coming out of the research institutes with the use of psilocybin in a responsible way and in its sacred ceremonial way to help us with a lot of ailments and disease. And, we're talking one that's still illegal at a federal level. It's decriminalized here in Colorado, but it's still illegal. What I'm dealing with and really diving into is functional mushrooms that are not illegal. They're on the store shelves. They're in your coffees. They're all around. And, my dive into this is again, sort of like Charlotte's Web being one of the top brands still to this day, one of the best, if not the best hemp oil on the market. I didn't want to start a company without being the same thing in this category, which is again unregulated. People can make things and say, "Oh, here's a mushroom drink. We put mushrooms in it." Well, how much? We don't know. What did you put? Mycelium or fruiting body or in these drinks that we make, we put 600 plus milligrams of 3 different mushrooms in there. So you're going to get a helping of these mushrooms. You're going to get the goodness from them and understand if they help you or not. And it's a lot of fun when you get people to have more energy, better focus, not have to rely upon pharmaceuticals to stay up all day or not to go to bed at night. You're helping people heal. We're helping the planet get better. And, it's a fun thing to be involved with.
Two of the functional mushrooms I've seen the most these days are lion's mane and chaga. How do you think those two types of mushrooms can help people?
Yeah, I mean, lion's mane is very popular. It's high in the nerve growth factor, neuronal growth and repair, not just in our brains, in our whole bodies, the neurons that go through our bodies. But lion's mane, there's more than just one lion's mane. There's like we at Michael Love Farm have like about 12 to 13 different varieties we're looking at that may have all different compounds in them doing different things. So yes, lion's mane is really good for focus, for clarity. It's an amazing addition to my nighttime routine. I take our replenishing sleep capsules that are non-drowsy, and it has lion's mane, reishi, and L-theanine. And I tell you, man, I go to sleep and my dreams are amazing. Like they are fun. I see people in them. I'm doing stuff that feels so real. And it's in color. And I ask a lot of people, I don't dream and I really don't sleep that well, but that's really the time we got to recover. So chaga, another one is very good. The king mushroom, it's one of the most powerful antioxidants on the planet. Yet it's a parasitic fungus. It's not a mushroom. It's just a fungus that kills birch trees. So it invades the birch tree and then it grows and that tree's dead now. So chaga, I believe, is for people that are really sick, unless you find a sustainable source. Our chaga that we put in our drinks, in our charged tincture, it comes from a sustainable farm that they're planting birch trees. They're doing this, trying to do this the right way. Because, human nature is to go and get it all, take it all, but let's make sure it's there for everybody. And sometimes the real powerful mushrooms should be really used for people that need it the most. But yeah, those are two very popular ones. Reishi is my favorite. It's a beautiful mushroom. It's not edible. You wouldn't want to eat it, but it's called the queen, and it's the mushroom of immortality. And it does a lot for, calming down your nervous system. Like I said, it's got a ton of benefits, and we're finding out more and more of what they're good for as more research is being done.
Do you think that the HBO series The Last of Us did harm intentionally to the mushroom community by making people afraid of cordyceps?
Yeah, maybe, I mean, that's something that we laughed about, because we're like, wait, those mushrooms were turning people into crazy zombies that could run real fast and everything. And it's like, you look around in the world and most people are zombies. They're pointing down at their phones, and you walk right by them and they don't even know. And it's like, take these cordyceps. We'll take you from the zombie state into a more awake state. But cordyceps is amazing mushroom for athletes, for people wanting to have endurance and fight fatigue. Yeah, cordyceps is unreal. It's, the caterpillar fungus. It grows in the Himalayan mountains on a caterpillar, a parasitic fungus. And that's called the Himalayan Viagra. It moves blood through your system. It oxygenates your blood, initiates the ATP reaction when you go to move and run. It's already there happening. So a lot of athletes are finding the benefits of that. Yeah, we grow ours vegan. It's not the Himalayan Viagra. It's just grown on a substrate here out in Fort Lupton. So, but yeah, cordyceps is a great one. Another one to investigate. Turkey tail for your gut health, for your overall immunity. For the fact that in Japan, they prescribe turkey tail for breast cancer patients. This has been used for a lot of serious ailments. I can't claim that it helps with any of them, but there's proof and there's anecdotal data out there that shows that it's helped with a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
Very cool. Big T, you got anything?
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this. Also on this episode, we talked about mermaids, and we kind of combined mermaids with psychedelic, effects. I'm just curious. You said you'd done psychedelic mushrooms, obviously. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you or that you've seen while on one of those substances?
Now you're getting too personal there, man.
That you want to share.
Yeah. There's been a lot of things. I think that the most amazing thing, one of the funnest things that's ever happened was at my friend, who I'm in business with Umbo Del Jolly, at his place on an afternoon. I was out kind of struggling outside. I like to go outside. I like to be out in nature where you can hear the birds and feel the wind and feel the grass and smell things, because it heightens everything in my awareness. My vision is more acute, my hearing and my tastes, and everything feels different, when you're in that medicine. And I remember his dog Bluto came running up to me, and I was in a moment of struggle, like you go through waves. It's not all just, I'm talking to frogs and they're funny. It's, you have realizations come that set in, and they're lessons, that they're teaching you and you're receiving. But Bluto came and we had a great afternoon. I was in a communicative state with this dog where we were obviously not talking, but we were communicating through our eyes and movement and like laughing together and having a great time. So that was one of them. Otherwise, just the way things move and like the way grass looks and trees, and like it changes things. It changes your perspective and it shifts the view. I like to say it's conscious reset. Definitely creates that feeling of oneness again, which, isolation is the worst thing in the world. Isolation is some of the worst things you can do for your overall health, is to live by yourself and be isolated from all the beauty out there. And, that definitely has opened me back up to that.
Very cool. Arian, you got anything else for him?
Nah, I just appreciate it, man. You reminded me. I bought some psychedelic mushrooms a while back, and they've been in my cabinet. I forgot about them shit. Yeah, I think I'll pop some, dog.
Yeah, like you mentioned it. It's not, it's party drug aspect, and even where cannabis has gone, it's just gone down this road of like, use it all the time, take it everywhere you go. And it's like, at some point you got to understand that the beauty that's out there is far better sometimes when you're stone cold sober and able to be present with everything that's going on, because there's so much happening. And when you're getting narrowed down to just wanting to only get high and always partying, like that's okay. But I'm not promoting that as a way with those mushrooms, setting and intention and
Mhm.
knowing that anything may show up. That's the thing with
Yeah.
these, and follow them up with some functional mushrooms, y'all, because
Yeah.
those are really good for our health, for our wellness. Take your health in your own hands and check out getumbo.com.
Very
Shameless
cool.
plug.
So
Love that.
What's your favorite type of mushroom to eat? Or do you
Ooh.
like, because I know as a kid you didn't like the smell. I assume you eat a lot of mushrooms now?
Yeah, I love cooking lion's mane. It's very interesting. Definitely for a meat alternative, or almost kind of like a lobster type texture. And you can do a lot of fun stuff with that. Oysters are always so yummy. You can do a lot of fun stuff. I like basic shiitake, man. It's like the
Yeah,
shiitakes are
that's my
so
favorite. I
flavorful.
love shiitake, bro. I love shiitake.
Yeah, man, the taste, it never fails, a shiitake. But when you get out and you start, dabbling in these, and even if you get out into nature and you find them when they're growing out in the woods, morels are really tasty. You're tasting things that your body has never tasted, but also that are bringing different nutrients to you also. Same with herbs and plants and all that. I mean, they just have so much to offer. But yeah, I cook a lot with them now. I definitely love them. Eat our bars, our umbo bars, pretty much every day. They're a great addition to the day with a lot of mushrooms in them to help you. And yeah, man, it's been a journey, and I really just appreciate being able to come share with you guys, man. It's really awesome to be able to open up and give you a little bit of what I've learned and answer some questions.
yeah, we appreciate it, man. And if you wanna find out more, he mentioned Unlimited Sciences. They're doing studies, responsible studies on the benefits of psychedelic mushrooms. And then there's Lily's Lighthouse, which is doing. I don't know if you're doing research or if you're promoting the medicinal aspect of certain mushrooms when it comes to helping kids and just people with epilepsy in general.
Yeah, there's some people doing work with functional mushrooms that are benefiting, that are suffering from seizures. So it's all about getting the knowledge out there, letting people know. A lot of people reach the end of their rope and then they find this, or maybe they don't. We're hoping that we can help people find this before the end of their rope, before it gets so hopeless and helpless. Like there's a pathway to health, and I think sometimes mushrooms can be a great initiator there, and a great help. Yeah, the Lily's Lighthouse is great. Unlimited Sciences, my farm, Michael Love Farm, and then Umbo. That's where I'm really focused on, is getting it out to people doing good things.
Cool, cool. Yeah, when we visited you, you sent us home with I think I had a reishi tincture.
Yeah.
Maybe there might have been some lion's mane in there, but I enjoyed the tincture. It was good. If you want to get your own, you can go to getumbo.com. And are you doing a promo code? Is there a macrodosing promo
Macro
code?
15.
Okay, there we go.
MACRO 15 for anyone out there interested. Go ahead and use that for 15% off. And just know you got to buy it. You can't buy the packaged ones that are already discounted. You got to just get individual products. But go ahead and check them out, man. Our bars are in REI. They're doing real well, and it's a slow grind, but it's something that keeps me going every day, and it's fun to spread the knowledge, man. Spread the word.
Very cool. I have one last question while you're here. I don't want to waste this opportunity because I've had tendonitis in my knees my entire life, basically since I was like 18, and it went away for a while, and it came back bad like 3 weeks ago. And I know what I'm in for. Like, it's a painful experience. It sucks walking up and down steps, but it's almost like a chronic ache all the time. I know that you've done some research. You know about certain types of functional mushrooms that can reduce. I don't know if there's anti-inflammatory mushrooms or what the case may be. I don't want to be taking high doses of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, whatever it is, NAISD or whatever it is.
NSAIDs, yeah.
I don't want to be taking those every day, all the time. Is there anything that has anti-inflammatory properties that I can look into?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say any of the mushrooms, most of them have high levels of anti-inflammatory properties. Starting with lion's mane is a great one to start with. Reishi, those two I think are great. And I like taking the 4 set of cordyceps in the morning. I mean, I take them all: cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi, and turkey tail in the morning. Our charge and recharge tinctures are a blend of 3 mushrooms together in each bottle. So that's a good way to get a good healthy dose of some mushrooms. But no, it's consistency over time equals results. It's just like eating your broccoli. You don't eat that one time and go have a personal best on the bench press. but you got to eat it. It's good for you. So continue to do that. And then also check out, we're doing some studies here with former NFL guys locally using functional mushrooms and peptides and trying to get some data back to see if that can help with the cognitive decline, maybe reverse that or slow it down. And then also with physical dysfunction that comes down to, some of the peptides we're using have shown promise with tendons and ligament health and, joint health. So there's stuff out there. If you're not curious, you don't know. If you just ask your doctor, you might not find out. But if you're curious and you want to know, there's stuff out there. And I feel like that's my calling, is to like bring that out to the people in a concise way and also live it, be involved with it. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm sorry to hear you got that tendonitis, but introduce them into your system. And I know they won't hurt you. And they damn well might help you.
All right. I'll give it a shot. Well, thanks, Jake. The Snake, an absolute legend.
Thanks, Jake.
I got your
Awesome.
info, man. I'm gonna hit you up, man. We'll chop a little more, brother.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Great to meet you, Arian, and all you guys. Thanks for having me on the show. You guys are doing the good work, man. Keep it up.
All right. Appreciate you, Jake.
All
Have a
right,
good one.
peace, love, and mushrooms.
Yes. The fungus is among us.